I'm sick and tired of violence. I'm tired of war and conflict in the world. I'm tired of shooting. I'm tired of hate. I'm tired of selfishness. I'm tired of evil. I'm not going to use violence, no matter who says it.
Hey, welcome to the 1804 Show, Chapter 2. I'm your host, Dollar Will, and this is another episode of 1804 History. So tonight, I'm going to be talking about Dr. King and his FBI files. And man, it's a lot of documentation. It just shows how much the U.S. government, the FBI, CIA hated this man. And to just go on a rampage and try to destroy one man, his credibility, his reputation, just mind-boggling. And I wanted to just, talk about this because it's public record. And a lot of it is lies, and a lot of it isn't. But I don't hold no type of malice against Dr. King, because Dr. King was someone who passed away. My bad. Assassinated. And committed the ultimate sacrifice, not only for his people, but for his family. And he rather had got killed than his entire family. And I can imagine going through something like that. Going through just being completely under surveillance like that. It's different, considering that now we have social media, we have Instagram, we got TikTok, we got Facebook, we got Twitter and stuff like that. But this man was powerful. He was considered to be the Black Messiah. And like I said, things were completely dangerous in his time. Being able to, live like that. To be able to, still keep your composure after having your house firebombed and being beaten on a numerous basis and going to jail. It was just too much. It's just a lot to fathom and to deal with. And what be making me mad is that so many people be trying to kill off his legacy because a black man's legacy can't be perfect or can't be too, I would say, squeaky clean or whatever. So they got to find something on anybody who's black to discredit him and his message. And what makes me mad is that our people help with the disrespect, help with the tarnish. And no man's perfect. No man is, without saying, can cast the first stone. You feel me? But I look at the good that he done. I look at a man who could have quit any time that he wanted to. But some things you just can't quit, and some things you can't go back to having a regular life. Once you're in, you're in. Just like I am. And it's funny because I can relate to that, because after everything that he did, there was no way he can go back to being just Martin King or Pastor Martin King. He was enemy of the state. He was the number one dangerous Negro in the country by the FBI and national threat to national security. And J. Edgar Hoover wasn't going to just sit back and allow him to make changes and make the people unite. He couldn't have that. And he had that influence. He had that power. He had the money. He had the status to change things. And people listened to him. And it's just one of those things that you just sit back and you just be like, damn. And it's still going on to this day. You know, how they attempted to try to turn the entire country, the entire nation against them. That didn't work. They tried to send tapes to Coretta, his wife. I guess on one of the tapes, he was allegedly having sex, but that didn't work. So, of course, they was going to, put out such negativity towards him and so much evidence and so much corruption on him. But he did what he had to do. He felt that his people was enough for him to get up and carry his duties and his responsibilities. And as a man, I respect that. I respect a man who isn't afraid to die. And he was never scared. He knew it was coming. He just didn't know what day, time, or hour. But it's just really upsetting that you have black people with these club flyers and making rude and crude remarks. If it wasn't for him and others putting their lives on the line, we wouldn't have the opportunities and the privileges that we have now. So before you try to disrespect the ancestors and disrespect Dr. King and Malcolm X and Rosa Parks, look at it like this. We will still be segregated. We will still be considered colored. We will still not have the ability to register to vote. But these kids nowadays don't know nothing. They don't know shit. So, of course, they're going to be disrespectful because the schools is not teaching black history no more. The schools is trying to eradicate it. They're trying to rewrite history and trying to make it seem like our people didn't go through bondage and second-class citizenship. And we only had been able to do these things for 60 years. And that's not a long time ago. That is not a long time ago. Shoot, that's short time for all of us to be able to have these type of things. But it just needs to stop. It needs to be put away. But Dr. King was such a hero of mine. He taught me not to be afraid, not to be ashamed of being black, being a man, number one. But two, use your voice. Speak your mind. Stand up for what you believe in. And it's tough. It's really tough to be out here just making sure that you live as righteous as possible. But everybody go through things. Everybody has a vice. Everybody going through something. And we just need to understand that. We just need to stop worshiping human beings. And he was a human being. And regardless what's true and what's fabrication, will never stop me from loving this great man, this father, this husband, this pastor, this human being. He made me dream. He made me fearless. He made me realize that you have to die someday. Might as well die for what you believe in instead of living like a coward, living like a paid puppet. Because nowadays it's all about the money. It's all about making sure that you get a piece of the pie, you get some type of prestige, instead of giving your life for somebody else who needs it. But it just really hurts, and it hurts because it's like a lot of people just rather live off a narrative that one person took him out, and that wasn't the case. That assassination was planned, the most well orchestrated hit in American history, because it couldn't look like it was professional. It had to be random. So they did everything they could, conjured up a whole bunch of scenarios and made up fake evidence to make sure that the truth wouldn't come out until 30 some odd years later, in 1999, when the U.S. government was responsible for his death. And I made videos about it with Dexter King visiting James Earl Ray, and he looked at him in the eye and told him that I didn't kill your father. Innocent man was put behind bars over that. It's just really sad because, we can only speculate. We can only make assumptions to what really happened. But it's enough evidence out here that's documented and publicized to prove that that didn't occur the way that it was portrayed in the media. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video on this real quick and just say happy birthday to Dr. King. Happy birthday, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And rest in peace. And thank you for your sacrifice. And thank you for your love, your mercy, your forgiveness, your courage, the whole nine. All right, y'all. I'm out. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. And I'm out. Have a good night. Peace.
I make my decisions on the basis of my moral commitment, and I take my ministry very seriously. I would not say that the civil rights movement is dead. It's simply that we are moving to a new phase of the movement. For now 12 years, we struggled to end legal segregation and all of the humiliation surrounding legal segregation. So it was a struggle for decency. It was a struggle to get rid of extremist behavior toward Negroes. Now we are in a new phase, and that is a phase where we are seeking genuine equality, where we are dealing with hard economic and social issues. And it means that the job is much more difficult. It's much easier to integrate a lunch counter than it is to guarantee an annual income. It's much easier to integrate a bus than it is to get a program that will force the government to put billions of dollars into ending slums. It's a wonderful thing to work and be concerned about integrating public accommodations, or integrating the public schools, which I will continue to work for with vigor and with zeal. But I've also got to be concerned about the survival of a world in which to be integrated. And these issues to me are tied together in that sense.
How did you arrive at this decision, and who influenced your thinking? I thought about it for several months, and finally I went away to write a book in Jamaica where I had a chance to reflect and meditate and do a great deal of thinking about the war in Vietnam, and I came to the conclusion then that I had no alternative but to take a vigorous stand against the war.
Dr. King, when you speak out against this war, do you speak as a Negro opponent of the war? Is there something especially anti-Negro or racist about the war that impels you to speak out?
I cannot overlook the fact that I am a Negro and that this war is doing a great deal to destroy the lives of thousands and thousands of my brothers and sisters. We are dying physically in disproportionate numbers in Vietnam, some 22 and 4/10% of the deaths, even though we are only about 11% of the population. The other thing is that we are dying spiritually and psychologically in disproportionate numbers at home, in the ghettos. And I think the war itself accounts for our constant spiritual and psychological death here at home.
I weighed the criticisms that I would get. Yes, sir. I thought about even the fact that some Negroes wouldn't understand, and some respectable Negro leaders who are more concerned about being invited to the White House than invited to the cause of justice would be against me. I weighed all of this. And as I weighed in it, as I prayed over it, something said to me that you got to speak on this issue. If you don't speak on it and others don't speak, I'm not going to give up. I'll have even the rocks to cry out against this war. It's an evil war. And no matter where it leads, no matter what abuses it may bring, I'm going to tell the truth.